Hello everyone, and this is my review for Monday Night Raw on July 20th, 2015. And, well, what can you say? This is the first show right after the Battleground pay-per-view, and honestly, it came off really good leading into SummerSlam. At least where some of the storylines were kind of starting out at. Starting with the Undertaker Brock Lesnar storyline, because obviously from the night before he interfered in the match, it was a good way of starting off the show. Just immediately get it out there with the Undertaker cutting his promo. Why is he going after this? Honestly, if you look at the gaping holes and everything in there, why did he wait until now? He could have done it at WrestleMania or something in that sense. But we'll look past that for at least the time being. The storyline-wise, of course, him saying it's like, oh, it was because of how much he was flaunting it afterwards, everything like that. I felt the promo actually came off relatively good. And then the subsequent segments afterwards, I'll talk about in a little bit, but I also felt they were really good as well. So let's go into basically everything else before I get back into the Undertaker Brock Lesnar storyline that they were going with. The aspect of them having the two Divas matches and doing the whole thing with the Divas Revolution was actually relatively good way of going with everything tonight. Again, these two matches, you had Brie going up against Charlotte, and then you had Sasha Banks and Naomi going up against Paige and Becky Lynch. Both of them really good matches, and again, I'm glad they're putting over the NXT Divas at this point. They're allowing them to get the wins, kind of building them up more and more to being the crazy viable threats. Also, I feel like they did a decent job of distinguishing the three teams. You had the aspect of Paige, Charlotte, and Becky Lynch. They're kind of being buddy-buddy and everything, at least at the moment. They're kind of the buddy-buddy team, while Sasha Banks, Tamina, and Naomi aren't necessarily people that like each other, with the exception of they play the family aspect with Naomi and Tamina, but going in a different area with Sasha Banks on there. Like divas that don't necessarily like each other, but they'll work together for the common goal that they want to ask what they want to obtain and everything. And then of course you have Team Bella, or Nikki, Brie, Alicia Fox, and they're playing the wily veterans in this case. So they did a decent job of distinguishing the three teams through promo and everything like that tonight, and they did a relatively good job. It's nothing crazy to write home about yet, but we'll see if they continue to build on that in some way, shape, or form. So we'll see where they go with that down the road here. Let's see here. You also had Big Show and The Miz. Obviously, they're still going off of the area that Ryback is still out. So they had Big Show and Miz go one-on-one. And it looks like they're kind of trying to write Miz out for the time being. Maybe so when Ryback comes in, maybe it's just going to be Ryback versus the Big Show. Miz is kind of gone, because the way they depicted Miz tonight, kind of saying, oh, you're out of this storyline at this point in time. So we'll see where they're going. Again, we'll see where they're going to go with that aspect as well, and where they can go with that storyline. So this brings me back into the Brock Lesnar, because oddly enough, there wasn't too much that happened on Raw. Because of how long the Undertaker Brock Lesnar segments ended up taking. First of all, you had the promo, like I said at the beginning of the show, with Undertaker. I liked that promo, and I liked the subsequent stuff beforehand, before the big brawl happened, like them trying to get a hold of Heyman. You had Triple H and Stephanie trying to get a hold of Heyman after setting up the big match for SummerSlam, and then them going for them also pulling all the people from the locker room. You had a quick promo from Paul Heyman in there. Not a quick promo, but you had a big quick backstage segment with Triple H, Stephanie, and Paul Heyman, saying, "Oh, I'm only here to give his rebuttal, and that's it." And then, of course, they play the aspect that they don't trust them, so they get all the superstars together, or at least most of them together, and say, hey, if this happens, we're going to stop everything, and oh, by the way, we're forcing you to do it type moment. I liked how they threw that in there as well, because most of those superstars would not help them in some way, so it's like, no, we're forcing you. have fun type of area. Paul Heyman's promo, what can you say? It was excellent. It was excellent. Great promo. Again, good setup getting The Undertaker out there. Of course, bringing in Brock Lesnar. The brawl between the two of them. I said I was a little skeptical of Undertaker coming back in right now because of the way he looked at Battleground. Not in the terms of movement or anything, just in terms of age. It kind of worried me about how he could move around. Tonight, or with that night on Raw, those are a little bit put to the side of being wary, and I'm a little bit more excited of seeing Undertaker back in there because he was moving around really good, and the brawl between the two of them escaping all the security and the superstars in multiple aspects was really was really well pulled off. Just liked how they did everything in there to get that aspect of these two want to tear each other apart and will do anything to do it. I liked how that. I just liked how they had everything there, and then the backstage segment afterwards, where they're still going after each other, was a nice little icing. Was an icing on the cake for that one. I felt they did a really good job in this segment, which led into Seth Rollins having his promo for the night, which was, of course, he started off backstage like, I want some time. I wanted to say a bunch of things about Brock Lesnar and The Undertaker. Type thing, him playing his overconfident self. And I liked where they were going. I liked where they went with that, and that led him to his promo saying it's like he's beaten everybody who's been thrown in front of him. Blah 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 blah, all that good stuff, which eventually brought out John Cena. I was kind of hoping they were going to go somewhere else, going into SummerSlam other than John Cena, but I guess it won't be a bad thing. Especially, I don't think it'll be a bad thing that he works the program with him. But I want Seth Rollins to go over in this case. I don't think it's time for Cena to be brought back into holding the title. I think they'll have him hold the title at some point before he's done again. But I don't think that time is right now for him to be in there. Now, him being in the main event with Seth Rollins and putting over Seth Rollins, I think would be a good thing at this point in time. So we'll see where they go with it. The promo between the two of them was relatively, I would say relatively good in this case. I liked how Cena came off in this case. I even liked how Seth Rollins came off as well towards John Cena. The promo that Cena gave about how Seth Rollins was a horrible champion, everything like that, I thought he depicted everything well. And then the counteracting from Seth Rollins I liked as well. So we'll see how they're going with this. I was kind of hoping they go with somebody else for Seth Rollins going into SummerSlam, but we're going to get John Cena in this case. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, because if you've seen Cena's matches as of late, they've been top-notch. So you're definitely going to get a good match out of it. Hopefully we end up getting a good program out of these guys as well. Which leads to the main event of the night, the six-man tag. Honestly, the six-man tag felt like a dark match main event. It really did. They were kind of playing comedy spots in there and everything like that. I liked how they played off the whole aspect that the three members of the other team couldn't work together with Kevin Owens, Rusev. Why am I forgetting the other one off the top of my head? I actually am forgetting the other one off the top of my head. Sorry. It was Sheamus. Why did I forget Sheamus? Oh well. But you had, how, all three of those guys weren't working well together. And then how the Cena, Orton, and Cesaro team gelled together, and especially at the end. The bickering between Sheamus and Kevin Owens, and then Kevin Owens and Rusev afterwards, and the reactions from like Randy Orton, John Cena, and Cesaro were actually kind of good. They were kind of playing off as like, this is going to be really good for us type moments, which left Rusev in there. And I liked that they didn't just end the match after Kevin Owens left and leaving Rusev by himself. It took like another distraction of Lana coming out and attacking Summer Rae, because they had the promo backstage and Summer Rae didn't knock her out, but slapped her in the face again. So it took another distraction of those two fighting to kind of put down Rusev. So they actually made him look a little bit stronger in that case, because you needed this other distraction after his two teammates had completely walked out to defeat him. And then it was an AA, the giant swing, and then a slingshot into the RKO that put him down. So not a horrible way of doing it. You kind of got a little bit of comedy out of it in there as well. Like I said, it felt more like a dark match main event than it actually felt like a main event match for the TV show. And it came off rather good. It wasn't horrible. The match was actually kind of fun to watch. But wasn't anything special in the end as well. So overall, Raw was fairly entertaining. I didn't really find myself overly bored throughout the entire show. So we'll see how everything goes going into SummerSlam. Now, obviously, they have plenty of time before SummerSlam, and we'll see how they start building up everything going into that pay-per-view. So that is my review this week for Monday Night Raw, and I thank you guys for watching.